done things in practice. Perfect window passes. They've been blown away by him, and that's why the chatter right now is Sam Darnold could start preseason game number 2.
So I guess, guys, the question is, Ben Roethlisberger changed his tune? The answer is hell to the no.
I mean, Mason Rudolph is not a threat at all. I mean, I don't even think this is like like Big Ben's probably stifling laughter as he's saying, oh, yeah, really impressive.
Welcome back. Ty Law, Jason McIntyre are back, and we're joined by NFL Network's own Bucky Brooks. Let's get to Pittsburgh, shall we? Where Ben Roethlisberger went down in practice today with a non-contact injury, but appears to be okay. Now, the injury comes, or potential injury scare, comes a day after new offensive coordinator Randy Fichtner insisted Big Ben hasn't lost a step and is actually having, wait for it, the best training camp ever. All right, so guys, listen, Big Ben has talked retirement in the past. Here's a guy that hasn't played a full season since 2014. And I'm not buying that he's having his best training camp ever. I do think that they're doing a better job of managing Big Ben's ego and the fact that he doesn't love to work a ton at this point in his career. Remember, he practices full one day, half another day, then a day off. They've given him the full vet schedule, but he's the quarterback, and I think some of this is Fichtner having his back because he knows Big Ben wants a new contract, and Big Ben took care of Fichtner, who was his quarterback coach. And, you know, they happen to push Todd Haley out, move Fichtner up. They're taking care of each other, and he's saying nice things about him. It doesn't mean that Big Ben's not going to have a good season. His QBR is down about, 10 points from his peak, from peak Ben Roethlisberger. He's still a really good quarterback, surrounded by 2 incredible players. But the idea that he's having his best training camp ever when he's only going full once every 3 days, I'm sorry, I'm just not buying it. I feel like this is a statement that every team makes. Right. It's just like every coach makes in the preseason. Man, do we have a great offseason. We lifted weights well?
Well,
we had the greatest training camp ever.
There's a big difference here. According to Ben Roethlisberger, he cut carbs in the offseason. He came in and under his normal weight. He's been talking about working with a trainer. Ben Roethlisberger has now seen Drew Brees have a really late career surge. What is he, 39 years old? Tom Brady just won a MVP at the age of 40. He's going to be 41. Put up big numbers. Why can't Roethlisberger, who's 36 years old, play for another 3, 4, 5 years? He comes into camp in shape. He's got great receivers. I'm actually buying this. I think Ben Roethlisberger's refocused now. Remember last year you talked retirement. I don't know. They won 13 games, I believe. They should have gone to the AFC Championship, that bad loss to Jacksonville. This is a Super Bowl contender. I'm buying Ben having his best camp.
You know what? I think, I agree with you that everyone says the same thing. He's having his best camp ever. If you're only practicing one day a week, you can't get hurt. We'll never know until the season starts. I've been a player for a long time. Even at the end of my career, I'm telling myself, that's the best training camp ever. Knowing I'm lying to myself, but I'm going to tell you guys that because, I got to put on this image and this perception about what it is. I still think Ben Roethlisberger is a very good quarterback. Do I put him in the elite category right now? Yes, but the only reason I do that is because what he's surrounded with. He has Le'Veon Bell. He has one of the best, if not the best receiver in the game, Antonio Brown. Yeah. Then you got Juju. You know what I mean? So he's surrounded with a lot of weapons. So you take a very good quarterback like Ben Roethlisberger is, and that's what makes him elite, in my opinion. But if you took that away from him, he'll still be a good quarterback, but he wouldn't be on the elite level that we're talking about.
And look, they're the catch rule away, really. Last year's catch rule away from beating the Patriots, getting home field throughout, and maybe the whole thing is completely different. Maybe they go to a Super Bowl. But look, you've played, and you've been on staffs before. How much of this is messaging and how much of this is reality?
It's messaging. It's his happiest camp because Todd Haley's no longer in the building. He had Todd Haley for 6 years, and there was a lot of friction. Todd Haley coaches hard. You guys talked in the previous segment about people not liking to get called out in film. Todd Haley took Ben Roethlisberger's game to the next level because he challenged him. He made him get away from some of that Sandlot style and play disciplined ball where the ball had to come out. He grew tired of that. He now has his buddy in as the offensive coordinator, so he's happy. We won't know how this relationship and how Ben Roethlisberger is until the bullets start flying for real in the regular season. Is that offensive coordinator the real deal like Todd Haley has shown that he can be? Then, when it falls back on Ben, if they're not having success, will he then take up for the offensive coordinator? All of those things come into play. And look, he talked about He's a high-drama quarterback. Yeah. You just never know what you're going to get. Some, but he is extra when it comes to it.
Matt Ryan is not. There are plenty of guys that show up, do their job, and go home. Phillip Rivers is not a high-drama quarterback. And again, I think Russell Wilson is a little bit more drama, but you mentioned Drew Brees. Drew Brees is not a high-drama quarterback. I think the friendship thing is going to be interesting. Usually in these scenarios, when you come off of a super disciplined guy, look at the Cowboys when they came off of Parcells. You get that 1 year where you still have discipline, and then the next year it starts to get away from him. When Gruden left the Raiders, the first year they went to the Super Bowl, lost to Gruden in the Super Bowl, but after that, the lack of discipline ended up kind of eating up the Raiders from within. I think that's what happens, where the discipline of Todd Haley was good for him. Now the buddy makes him feel better, but the discipline will still carry over for another season.
Very similar to what Derek Carr experienced last year. Got rid of Bill Musgrave, who was really on him, grinded on him. Had his buddy in Todd Downing, didn't play to the same level. Sometimes you need someone that is going to hold you really, really accountable in film room to get best results.
I hold Jason accountable every day in film room.
That's why you're better.
That's why you get better. To Denver, where the Broncos just busted former future franchise